Hello. Right, if you're watching this and you're over 60 years old, and if asked, you can say in all honesty that you rather enjoyed watching the Dam Busters, then I'm sorry to say you are a right-wing extremist and you should be ashamed of yourselves. And don't take my word for it. Just look at this article here in the Daily Skeptic. It's discussing the Prevent programme, which is supposed to be part of the UK's counter-terrorism strategy. Just look at this headline here. It says here, record number of over-60s referred to Prevent amid explosion in extreme right-wing views. For example, liking the Dam Busters. So it's official. And I'm only half joking when I say that we have to start considering the possibility that in our own interests, of course, keeping us safe on account of our unacceptable opinions, just like this government gave the vote to 16-year-olds, it's entirely possible that this government will withdraw it from pensioners. And I'm not joking either. The way things are going right now, I can well imagine that we'd have to pass a Prevent test along with our driving licence. Okay, I am an over 60 granniopteryx, so I'm not even sure how long they're going to let me upload to YouTube. But meanwhile, please like this video, please share it, please subscribe to my channel. And yes, I was going to say, I made some notes here. This time, any money you might send will go to buying a new head collar, a field head collar for my horse who managed to scratch his head collar off. And he's become pretty well uncatchable now. And he appears, I don't know why, to prefer the field a bit more than riding out with me for some proper exercise. All right, well, let's get on with Prevent. So Prevent was started in 2006 in response to the 7/7 London I'm going to have to blur this word out, I'm afraid. London bombings, and was specifically designed to deal with the threat of Islamist extremism. However, somehow, Prevent seems to have drifted away from that sort of focus over the past few years, as you can see from this article. The problem with Prevent mission creep started in 2016 with the calamity involving the MP Joe Cox. Sorry about the language or lack of it, YouTube, you know. And after Miss Cox, it looks like Prevent went over to the dark side, concentrating on what it saw as right-wing extremism, and this is how it defines it. Home Office figures show 127 adults in their 60s or beyond were put on Prevent's radar in 2023-2024. Of them, 43 had sparked alarm for expressing extreme right-wing ideologies. And that can be broadly characterised as cultural nationalism, white nationalism and white supremacism, officials say. So, cultural... Hang on, where are we? Cultural nationalism means something like, you think the Royal Ballet's pretty good. I'm serious, it's as low key as that. And white nationalism is somebody who thinks that England's only for white people, and white supremacism is feeling that white people are superior to everyone else. So I'm not that happy about these two, although For instance, white nationalism is very unlikely to lead to any violence, but certainly cultural nationalism. When I say that the Tate Gallery is a wonderful cultural asset and something that only a British Empire could have assembled, the British Museum, the Science Museum, all those things. Jane Austen, Shakespeare, anything like that. It was and is superior to much of what the rest of the world has produced. And that makes me preventable, I suppose. Okay, so Prevent's attitude didn't come out of a plan, I think. It just sort of changed direction. And this was recorded by Sir William Hartley Hume Shawcross, CVO. That's Commander of the Royal Victorian Order. Oh, Victorian! Yeah, that's definitely white supremacist, isn't it? Shawcross is a journalist. He's a writer. He's a broadcaster. He's a sometime chairman of the Charity Commission for England and Wales. And he's known for his work on human rights. And he was commissioned to study Prevent and published a scathing review of it in 2023, complaining that it was ignoring extremist Islam and disproportionately concentrating on what it referred to as right-wing extremism. The problem with looking for right-wing extremist radicals is that since there isn't all that much right-wing extremism in the UK, Prevent is having to interpret that particular social ill more and more broadly. According to Shawcross, Prevent's definition of extreme right-wing ideology extended to what Shawcross defined as mildly controversial but mainstream right-leaning commentary. Probably me. I'm probably in that category, and I expect the knock on the door any day now. On the other hand, Prevent narrowed down its definition of Islamist extremism. So, there's so much of it that it took in less and less of it. And obviously, the people who were involved in Prevent thought that maybe, they didn't want to be themselves classified as right-wing extremists. So they narrowed down their definition of Islamist extremism to such a degree that it's all but disappeared. So we have this. In 2023, it emerged that popular British sitcoms, including comedies Yes Minister and The Thick of It, were marked as key texts for white nationalists and right-wing views. Even the 1955 epic war film The Dam Busters and the complete works of William Shakespeare were flagged as possible red flags. That's not very nice. Were marked up as possible red flags of extremism by Prevent's Research Information and Communications Unit. Across all age groups, more than 1,300 people were referred to Prevent last year for extreme right-wing behaviour, including 27 children under the age of 10. Now, they say last year, so let's see if that's this year. Yeah, 2nd of August 2025. It's a very new article. So last year, 27 children under the age of 10 were referred to Prevent. Now, when the Shawcross review came out, the Conservative government accepted its recommendations and tried to get Prevent to widen its Islamist and narrow its right-wing definitions. But with the advent of the Labour government, things seem to have reset to default and to what Shawcross referred to as the culture of timidity. Shawcross noticed that officials were reluctant to address Islamist extremism due to fear of being labelled Islamophobic. Now, let's have a look at this. This is a BBC site, Prevent Counter-Terror Scheme Lambasted in Review. and they talk about Ali Harbi Ali, who murdered, sorry, I'm going to censor that, Sir David Amess, engaged with Prevent between 2014 and 2015. Well, that went well, didn't it? The UK's scheme to prevent terrorism has apparently failed repeatedly to identify attackers, a highly critical review has concluded. Yeah, because they're sort of a don't look here, look there type of attitude. So they're looking at right-wing extremists instead of people like Ali Harbi Ali. OK, folks, time for some facts. I asked Grok how many people in the UK have died as a direct result of right-wing attacks, giving a limit of just the past 10 years, that is, from 2015. And I then asked Grok to tell me how many people in the UK had died as a direct result of Muslim attacks, again, asking for figures within the past 10 years. And this is what I got. OK, right-wing violence, 2016. The murder of Joe Cox MP by a far-right extremist. 2017. The Finsbury Park mosque attack. Darren Osborne drove a van into worshippers, killing one person. All right, now. We had dealt with the 2 deaths from right-wing violence, now Islamist violence. And this proves that the first example in 2016 proves that it's not just white Christian European types who suffer from Islamist violence, as anyone in Pakistan would be able to tell you. But here, this is Britain. So, 2016, Jalal Uddin, 71, was bludgeoned to death with a hammer by 24-year-old Muhammad Qadir because he practiced a form of Islamic healing that Qadir regarded as blasphemous. And then in 2017, the Manchester Arena bombing, which killed 22 people, and I might say very badly injured a friend of mine. 2017, the London Bridge attack resulting in 8 deaths. 2017 again, the Westminster Bridge attack killing 5 people. 2019, the Fishmongers Hall attack causing 2 deaths. And in 2020, Khairi Saadallah stabbed to death James Furlong, David Wales and Joseph Ritchie Bennett during an attack in Forbury Gardens in June of 2020. Then in 2021 there was the murder of David Ames MP by an Islamist extremist. So you can tot up the number of deaths yourself, can't you? You don't need me to do that. But I'd say you don't have to be a mathematician to see there's a gross disparity here between the sort of deaths caused by right-wing extremists and those caused by Muslim extremists. And remember, these figures record only the attacks that resulted in actual deletion. Again, sorry about the language. Grok also tells me that as of the 31st of March, there were 238 people jailed for terror-related offences in the UK, of which 77% were Islamists and 18% were far-right extremists. And I suppose one of those classified as a right-wing extremist would be someone like Lucy Connolly. So I'm not sure quite how extreme those right-wing extremists might be. Although it's difficult to work out where Prevent actually draws the line. But back to the figures. Terror-related offences, 77% Islamists, 18% far right. And yet, according to the Home Office in the year ending March 2024, 45% of Prevent cases were related to extreme right-wing radicalisation, or at least what they classified as extreme, and right-wing, while just 23% were linked to Islamist radicalisation. By the way, 77 and 18% makes 95%. I wonder what the other 5% are supposed to be. So we have this article here in Spiked with the title, Why Prevent is Failing to Tackle Islamism, and the answer is right here. Practitioners are too frightened of being labelled Islamophobic. Well, yeah, because that would put them into the right-wing extremism and they'd have to prevent themselves, wouldn't they? It's all a bit silly, really, in a very dark and ugly way. All right, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.